This week, we spent a lot of time thinking about video game movies, some of the highlights and lowlights of the genre in the past, and of course, I looked at the brand new Tomb Raider, which is in cinemas now. If you'd prefer something a little different, we also went a-sailing across the Sea of Thieves and have compiled a few thoughts on the topic. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week we've had to carefully pick through the news to figure out what was real and what was just an April Fool's joke. Some of our favourite pranks this year include Niantic announcing its upgrade to cutting-edge 8-bit graphics for Pokemon Go. Remedy Entertainment announced it has had enough of making games like Alan Wake, instead rebranding itself as a coffee company. Razer's latest peripheral, Project Venom, features consumable nanotechnology that will permanently alter your body in order to make you a better gamer. Rocket League's hat system was temporarily broken. It seems someone hit the embiggen mode button and forgot to turn it off.
Let's take a moment to check in.
This new gameplay mode for Rock Band 4 is a little different to what we're used to, but so is the upcoming Need for Speed game. And even though it might not be games related exactly, I would really like this brand new Lego sorting vacuum. After all that though, there was still room for some actual news. First up, Valve has removed the Steam Machine section from the Steam store. It's 2018 and this isn't really surprising. Nobody has announced any new machines for a while now, and the idea of a dedicated Linux-powered gaming PC never really got much traction. That said, the project wasn't a complete waste of time, as it shed an awful lot of light on the state of gaming for Linux. A number of game developers, including Aspyr and Feral Interactive, now include Linux versions of their games by default, and while it's not exactly a benefit for Steam, rival online retailer GOG.com has also added the ongoing support for Linux games. Support is still continuing for SteamOS, Valve's own Linux distro, and the hardware companies that were making the machines themselves will likely continue for a while longer, but you'll have to look a little harder to find them. Sticking with Valve, if you ever wanted to know what exactly is involved in squishing cheaters in CSGO, here's the deal. VacNet, a deep learning system, uses more than 1,700 CPUs working non-stop to spot and ban hackers based on dynamic criteria. But the cheaters are learning along with the bots. When the developers retrained VacNet with new behaviours, it reported a nearly 100% conviction rate for a short time, and then the cheaters adapted and it slipped back to its standard rate, which is a thoroughly impressive 80 to 95%. In other news, here's a short video from Human Head Games showing what could have been Prey 2 before it was cancelled. We'll have some more thoughts about Sea of Thieves a little later in this episode, but the game has already seen its first pirate legend, and fans aren't particularly happy. Twitch streamer Prodigy X has reached level 50 with all 3 of the game's factions and gained access to a secret pirate legend hideout. On the surface, that might not sound like a terrible thing. Surely he did a lot of hard work to reach these lofty peaks, particularly so soon after the game's launch, right? Well, not exactly. Prodigy X has quite the following on his online channels, so he enlisted his adoring fans to help him in his quest. Fans would go out on missions to collect treasure, then Prodigy would join the party when it came time to hand out the loot. Essentially, he'd reap all the rewards without actually doing any of the work, and you'd better believe the fans who are putting in the hard yards, grinding for treasure, are not terribly pleased. Some are calling on developer Rare to remove the prize, to find a way to make it obvious that he essentially snuck into the top spot, or simply to label him a cheat. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was another April Fool's joke, but it is real. No Man's Sky is headed to Xbox One in the Northern Hemisphere's summer 2018, that is, sometime within the next 6 months. The game is also getting a massive update to go with the new platform, and No Man's Sky Next is so big it not only gets its own name, but its own logo as well. The update will be free for all existing players, and developer Sean Murray explains the team will continue to support No Man's Sky in this way for the foreseeable future. Moving on though, and Far Cry 5 is about as impressive as we expected it to be. In just a week after release, the game has more than tripled the series' peak player count on Steam. The previous record holder was Far Cry 3, which saw a launch peak of 23,042 concurrent players. The new one, a massive 83,000 concurrents, with nearly 280,000 people picking up the game on Steam in its first 48 hours. For comparison, Ghost Recon Wildlands, For Honor and Assassin's Creed Origins all approach the 46,000 concurrent mark, with The Division peaking at 113,000, so it looks like Hope County really is the place to be. And sticking with Far Cry 5, the game's arcade mode means that players can create their own maps and share them with others. Of course, it didn't take long for fans to start creating copies of their own favourite maps from other games, meaning within just a few days of release we've already spotted PUBG's iconic Island, a version of the Baker House from Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, and of course Counter-Strike's classic DE Dust. For more information on any of these stories, or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.